Should the Patriots tank?
No. You want to tank on an entire year, or do you want to tank at the end of the year? If I'll have the discussion like we did a year ago, which I still thought was ridiculous because you go out and you try to win. But I would at least understand it because of the picking where we landed, where you could have had 2, but you landed at 3, and you had Drake. And if you really wanted Drake and he went 2, you'd be kicking yourself in the head. I'd have the discussion at the end of the year if you're having a similar year as to what you have or had last year. But you don't go have any approach going into this thinking we're tanking.
Andrew Callahan, Boston Herald, writes, "It pains me to say it, but yes. They've already traded their best player, Matthew Judon. They're preserving more than $39 million in cap space, and they can roll it over into the offseason. And they're fully engaged in a rebuild. Now go all in. Play the kids, sell at the deadline, improve your odds of landing the number 1 overall pick. Until the Patriots have blue-chip players at premium positions, they do everything possible to add them in the draft and free agency, and that means tanking." Ugh.
Is this after watching Travis Hunter play?
Here's the thing. Do you need to try and tank? No.
No, don't intentionally lose.
You're going to lose so much already. You're already competing for the number 1 overall pick. Why do you need to try to get the number 1 overall pick? What's the point of that?
It's not.
And if Elliott Wolf decides to sell at the deadline, that's a brutal position he's putting Gerard Mayo in as a first-year head coach.
Yeah, that's not good.
That sucks. And again, arranged marriage. I'm going to keep pointing that out. Elliott Wolf didn't pick Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo did not pick Elliott Wolf. Nobody picked each other in this. They may have started out being friendly and agreeing on everything, as they love to tell us in the offseason. And Gerard Mayo was wise enough to tell us, yeah, let's see what happens when we lose.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when we lose games.
He knows. Yeah.
And he does. He does know. I want to see what that looks like. Is everything hunky-dory with those two guys if all of a sudden they are, God forbid so, 0-8 or 0-9 like you mentioned of last segment. And the GM says, well, the smart thing to do here is dump whatever we have. It's a lost year.
That's tough.
I mean, you are at that point desperate to find positive things, paths toward competing in a game, trying to end the year on a positive note, and then you might clean out the cupboard on him. Oh,
can't do that.
If you already have a record that's that bad, you're already on your way to getting top picks. You have the money still. You're going to intentionally tank and raise the white flag in year 1 of a new head coach?
No,
I don't like that. Last year, go ahead.
You got a quarterback.
Right?
You got a young quarterback.
But you got an established coach. So it doesn't matter.
But I wonder how much...
In a program. They don't have that now.
I wonder how much Gerard learned from last year. Did he sit back and say, boy, if I was Bill, I would do this? And he probably couldn't do it because Bill had total control. Is there anything like, he looks back to last year that I can't let that happen? And maybe it's the infighting, like the quarterback thing.
Yeah.
This quarterback thing's very delicate.
Well, he was in the meeting rooms taking his hacks with his baseball bat, so...
It was a mini bat.
Well, left an impression on the people around the building enough to go to the media and tell them about it. This guy's kicking back, swinging a baseball bat during meetings. I don't know. That got out. So it rubbed some people the wrong way. I don't know.
Don't use a prop. I mean, I could see where it'd be a problem if it was a big bat. It's one of those little mini bats.
Oh, mini.
Yeah.
Mini bat's okay.
It wasn't like full Gallagher. It wasn't full Gallagher. Yeah. No, it was a little bad.
Louisville Slugger 241, no good. But mini prop bat, fine. You got something, McKone? You gave us a look.
I would 100% tank. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You're tanking.
You want to tank.
I'm not going to intentionally lose, but if you get to the deadline and let's say the Niners, because Pearsall's out and all this stuff, they need a receiver and they're willing to give you a Mohamed Sanu deal for Kendrick Bourne, you guys are going to hold on to Kendrick Bourne for a second or third round pick? Hell no. Absolutely not. Get him out of here.
He's not worth a second or third.
That's what. But overpaying for receivers, and the Niners obviously like Bourne a little bit. And if they're in a tough spot, they need to win now. I'm absolutely cashing in. Look, you don't have that many pieces on your roster, by the way. That
If
I think
Drake
other
May
teams
is
are
starting
interested
at
in.
that point, and Kendrick Bourne is out on the field producing,
And he looks like your best receiver.
you're going to trade him?
Yes.
That's a bozo move. That is what a clown team does because they don't value building anything in year one. That is full. We don't care. You shouldn't care.
He's not in your long-term
We're waving the white
plans.
flag. That's a horrible. It's not worth it. Whatever you get back, to me, isn't worth it in that scenario. Again, if the guy's producing and you've got the young quarterback on the field at that point, and he's helping that kid develop into something, then the mid-round pick isn't worth it. The development of your young quarterback is more valuable. So I would not do it.
I would want to add to the foundation, and Kendrick Bourne's not a piece of it. You don't have that many pieces that I think other teams are going to be interested in terms of veterans that kind of fit what we're talking about. He's the one guy, and if some of your younger receivers then have an opportunity to play because Bourne's not on the field, I'm for it, especially if you're struggling.
I think you have to give the context of last year. They bottomed out and sucked and needed to move on from Bill Belichick. Now you're going to try and do it again?
I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to do it.
But this is about, like, your entire approach. Should you tank the year? If you're going to do that, you kind of have to go in with that mindset. And if we're focusing on the now, they should not be going in with that mindset. They should not be thinking about moving pieces at the deadline before they've even played a game.
Yep. Didn't you already do it, Judon, though?
It shouldn't be a thought that enters their mind. Didn't it with Judon?
You already traded your best player.
That is true. That is true, and it's definitely the best argument that they've already started doing it, and maybe they do have that mindset. I think that's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's different. For sure.
It
Yes.
is. It's not like he's a guy who's happy and is producing and is he was detracting. He was taking away from the culture and the program building. That was a headache. That was a guy who was not coming to work with the best attitude every day. That was a guy that showed up as head coach in the middle of a training camp practice. Like, that to me is a different kind of situation.
You got rid of a potential problem. Because losing, habitual losing irritates you. And he's already irritated because he's not getting the money that he wanted. They already said, hey, we're not giving you the bump that you want. Long term, you're not in our plans. You're 32. You played 25% of football last year. So why should we give you this guarantee? And if that didn't happen, he was still here, and say you start 0-3, 0-4, that's where it really becomes a problem.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.